still unsolved mysteries. According to Reddit, number 15. The Overtone Bridge. It's a bridge in Scotland where dogs always, unexplainably, jump off. It's very strange, and nobody knows for certain why they do this. Dogs who survive reportedly walk back up and then jump back off again. They even had to be put a warning sign. Or they even had to put up a warning sign to keep your dog on a leash and to watch them. Intriguing. A lot of the theories say that maybe it's because of certain scents or animals down below. But most people have disagreed. All we know is that it's weird. That's pretty messed up. The Doggy Barkaside Bridge. That's pretty cold, man. As we continue to number 14. Whatever occurred with Brian Shaffer. This happened in my hometown. This is a med student who went to a bar with friends and fully disappeared off of the face of the earth. Damn. Does the music need to be creepier? Maybe. Let's see if I can get that sorted right about now. Now we're talking. Brian Shaffer was a medical student at Ohio State University. One night on March 3rd, Shaffer went out with his friends to celebrate the beginning of spring break. You know, this doesn't exactly condense down well. Let me see if I can squeeze it in a little bit better for you. I normally don't squeeze it in without lube, but, you know, for you guys, you deserve it. On the night of March 31st, 2006, Shaffer went out with his friends to celebrate the beginning of spring break. Later, he was separated, and they assumed that he had just gone home. However, a security camera near the entrance to the bar recorded him briefly talking to two women just before 2 a.m., April 1st, and then apparently re-entering the bar. Shaffer was not seen or heard from since. The case has received national media attention. Shaffer's disappearance has been especially puzzling to investigators since there was no other publicly accessible entrance to the bar at the time. Columbus police have several theories about what occurred. Some interest and suspicion has been directed at a friend of Shaffer's who accompanied him that night, but who has refused to take a lie detector test regarding the incident. While foul play has been suspected, including the possible involvement of the purported smiley face serial killer, it has also been speculated that he might be alive and living somewhere else under a new identity. Well, damn. Curiouser and curiouser. You can't even get mad at people who don't want to take a lie detector test when they can be fooled. A lie detector test can be tricked. You can train yourself to defy it. And since that can occur at all, that means that there's a margin for error on the device, which is exactly why it shouldn't be taken seriously. Y'all know what I'm talking about? A hello to Chris, Linda, Rachel, Julieks, Udaburu Snow, and I guess Dia, who joins us from a different world, a different planet. Rachel says, I finally got my boyfriend to sit down and listen to a Kyle stream with me. That can't have gone well. And which boyfriend, Rachel? Oh, see what I did? Oh, if he's listening to this with you, that shit would be funny. But if you're listening alone, you got lucky. As we continue up to this list. And reach number 13. The one time when the Prime Minister of Australia... Sorry. You kind of just fused those words, didn't you? Slow down, bad boy. The one time when the Prime Minister of Australia went to the beach. Why is that a mystery? I really don't understand this. How is this a mystery? Is this a joke? On December 17th, Harold Holt, the Prime Minister of Australia, disappeared while swimming in the sea near Portsea, Victoria. An enormous search operation was mounted in and around Cheviot Beach, but his body was never recovered. A Prime Minister went to the beach and disappeared? Oh my God! Listen, your Prime Minister's your fucking president, my dude. I would imagine if there's somebody that should have eyes on them at all times, maybe it's the guy in the seat of Prime Minister or President. We have what's called a Secret Service here. Trust me, I don't think that they've ever had to work harder than with our current president, and that's all I'll say about it. You're telling me that there aren't a couple of blokes responsible for keeping an eye on the Prime Minister? He's the bleeding Prime Minister. And then a riptide just came for that ass. How does it happen? You guys have one job. Certainly there should be people with one job, and it's to keep an eye on this man. There should be different people watching him with different talents for different days of the week. Oh, you want to go to the beach, Prime Minister? It looks like bodyguard diver Jim is going to be going with you today. He's an Olympic swimmer, but you know, today his sole task is to make sure you're all right out there. He'll punch a shark for you. He'll dive in front of a jellyfish sting. He'll pull your pants down when you gotta pee out there, man. The Prime Minister disappeared. Are we sure about that? Did he disappear like Epstein just left life? Oh man, what happened? He did a flip off of his really low to the ground bed. That's all it took. You know? No. What an innocent sounding entry, and what a terrifying story behind it. That one time the Prime Minister went to the beach. Oh my God. Number 12. Wait, did you just start playing that other song? You gotta play the one, you gotta play Creep, come on. Yes. As we arrive. Bruh, did you just make your whole list inside this list? Bitch, calm down. Alright, I'm trying to get out of here. Number 12. Subsection 1. The Soder children. Their house burned down in the middle of the night. Several of the kids were presumed dead, but their bodies were never found in the debris, and it never burned hot enough to cremate them. Jet fuel can't melt steel children. It started to look extremely suspicious. The parents, until their deaths, believed that they had been taken for some reason. Many years down the line, they did receive a photo and a cryptic note from someone claiming to be their son, but it was never authenticated. That's not cool, man. Imagine your kids are presumed dead in a fire, but there are no bodies that have been retrieved. And because of the world we live in, you start getting messages from people that are like, I'm your son. Sons of bitches. The boy in the box. A deceased little boy found beaten, recently shaved of his hair, and abandoned in the box for a bassinet that he was way too old for. The photos and reconstructions of him released to the public in the desperate hope of identifying him are haunting. If you've seen this, this is really old school. This is way, 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 way old school. If I can find the pictures. Oh, man. That's as good as it's going to get right there. We're not going to be able to find any more bring brongs on him. Not that we can be showing off on a stream. As terrible as it is to say, with the amount of things that go down in the world that we live in, actually having a body is very, very different from a lot of what we typically see, which is people vanishing without a trace, with only the hope that they're in fact dead, because if they're alive, they're probably being used by the most evil, sick, and gross people imaginable. You should let a child live, not use them. No. The St. Louis Jane Doe. A little girl was found in an abandoned house, decapitated, and bound at the hands. They have no dental records or facial reconstruction to go from. The case leads nowhere. She's just this nameless woman, lost to time. Lost to time. The Tri-State Crematory. A devastating case of a man called back from his college football career to take over his father's business when the father fell ill. Over time, people started noticing bodies and body parts on the grounds. They were just hanging around. When someone finally took the report seriously, they found that he'd been piling up bodies randomly all over the property, often when it would have been much easier to just cremate them instead of hauling them around to where they were dumped. The guy gave families canisters of cement dust instead of ashes. The mystery on this one is why. The guy never gave up the answer to what happened there, and will only insist that there are no answers. His lawyer theorized that he had mercury poisoning from cremating amalgam fillings. But that doesn't really explain why you would dump a body instead of cremating it, when the latter takes less effort. Bruh. Do we even? The West Memphis 3. All of the satanic panic mess obscured so much about what will probably go unanswered now. A bloody man covered in mud stumbled into a Bojangles the night those little boys went missing. Cops barely investigated that incident and lost the blood evidence that they did collect regarding it. Cops, am I right? What was going on with John Mark Byers and Terry Hobbs, two dads of those two kids, both turning up with evidence and acting at different points like they may have been involved? Bruh. These are all worthy of their own, 20-minute video. Lars Mittank, a German tourist on vacation in Bulgaria, got into a fight, and the medical complications kept him from going home on a flight with his friends. Staying behind, it looked like his mental state unraveled completely over the course of just a few days, increasing paranoia, eventually culminating in his complete disappearance into a field of sunflowers. Bruh, what you mean? What you mean he disappeared in a field of sunflowers? Sweep the field. What you mean? Ain't no fields of sunflowers on the fucking planet big enough to just have a body go missing forever. Like it's a dimension where everything is only A field of sunflowers. What a thing that I've just read. Think I have time for this? Bruh. If there's one thing you need to fucking do, you fucking idiots, is when you go traveling, keep your goddamn wits about you. Ain't nothing wrong with having a good time. Get a little bit loose. Enjoy some sauce. Maybe get high. What you doing getting so sloppy drunk that you getting into a fight with a motherfucker, my dude? Over there? Overseas? Consider everybody a cop when you travel. Because losing face to them is the end of the world. A bruised ego, they'll just lose their mind. Much like a cop who needs to power trip and feel like a big man. Because if he doesn't, he's just going to pull out his gun. Blam, blam. I'm a big man. I'm a big man. Just calm the fuck down. It's not worth it. You got to go to a hospital over there. They hate you already. Fucking American, they hate you. Maybe they think that you got money. They can exploit you. Maybe they can drug your ass and whisk you away. Hope that somebody's going to pay a ransom on your stupid ass so they could get paid. Don't be foolish. It's so simple. Am I implying that anybody deserves what they get going over there acting a fool? No. I do believe that if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, but come on, man. You do not own the world. And if a prime minister can go missing, my God. Oh my God. The chosen, the fiery, the explosive YNK. Thank you for this cursed entry. Thank you. Today. Yeah, I got rhymes now. Number 11. Which of these 3 astronauts aboard Apollo 10 were responsible for the floating turd? You know, it wouldn't be a Kyle list without a poop entry. So, there it is. Here's hoping that's the capacity, that we won't get any more of that. Let me get Thunder Dreams in here to just break up the monotony. Like at least the 2 of them playing. So as we continue up this list, we arrive at number 10. Oh my God. Will the Delphi murders ever be solved? Who was the man on the bridge behind them? Oh my God. Well, he could have described what the hell was going on a little bit for us, you know? But he didn't. Oh, dude, were these the girls who managed to get a picture of the dude on the bridge? On Snapchat?
I think so.
That's so sad. It's just some dude walking behind him. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. I don't know, man. I hope to God that if I ever have children and they're girls, I can train them better than to just be walking out in the middle of the woods without protection. Holy hell. Gruesome. Number 9. The quote-unquote suicide of Ellen Greenberg. 27 stab wounds in different areas of the body. Aren't the police unbearable? Aren't the police unbearable? Can you imagine? 27 stab wounds and they come and declare something a what? Oh man. It's really hard to imagine being a fucking family member. You're a mother, dude. And this happens to your kid and they come and they go, well, it looks like this is what happened. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to not go full crazy right there? You're supposed to not go full crazy. Just accept what we tell you. You eat it. You eat this story. Number 8. Nice try, Netflix. You have to find interesting unsolved murder mysteries yourself. Sorry, Freudian slip there. I don't necessarily want, you know. Jeez, I'm just saying. The joke used to be that BuzzFeed would be scouring Reddit for articles, but I guess it's Netflix now. Number 7, the USS Cyclops. It was a coal ship. It disappeared along with 306 men. It was the largest Navy loss of life that didn't involve combat. Why would you leave out the most important part? That the loss of the ship and its crew and passengers without a trace occurred within the Bermuda Triangle. That shit ain't a joke, man. Planes have gone off inside that triangle. And why in God's name we don't fly fucking, very capable drones in there and see what fucking dimension they come out in? That's the real question. Be one thing if we lost fucking signal almost immediately. But if we got to see that, for some reason, something extracurricular was happening out there, come on. It's crazy. Nobody interesting has money. Build a fucking device. Put some goddamn cameras on it and see what's going on out there. And I like to think that the government already has. That we've already been flying drones into interesting and problematic areas. That we've already built highly pressurized devices to go wicked underground. Or wicked under the sea. 'Cause darling, it's creepier down where it's, Well, suggest it to Musk. We can't suggest stuff to Musk. We have to phrase it in a way that makes it seem like he can't do it. You know what you can't do, Musk? And he'd be like, what? I could do it. I do it for the memes. Number 6. Asha degree. Girl leaves her house in the middle of the night during a storm and then disappears. The only problem is that she was terrified of thunder and lightning and had no motive for leaving because her home life was fine. Then her clothes and backpack were found a year later in an abandoned construction site. Jesus Christ. It's the type of question where when you ask yourself, Ouroboros no, you immediately realize, no, they must have. So much so that they're probably doing it right now. But we're not hearing anything about that. And I could tell y'all things that will blow your mind. I could tell you without saying too much. Without bringing my head up, so to speak, because again, we should all just want to keep our heads down, live our short little existences, make what little change that we can to make the world a better place, and go out with a bang, But don't think that I don't know YouTubers who had to be shut down or who didn't receive a knock on the door from people without, identification, but who clearly represented something that you don't want to fuck with. Bruh, and they had to either alter their shit or just be done with it entirely. And they were just talking about things. They weren't even doing anything, man. People these days on YouTube, they got money to do some shit. Fuck building some kind of $50,000 fucking, bullshit, making a production. Oh, we're going to hire a team of people to make some CGI. We're going to make some kick-ass YouTube videos. And nah, bro, build yourself a device that can fly, that has, a considerable, I wouldn't say too crazy armor, make it lightweight, send it the hell out there. It's got a range. We can connect this bitch to a fucking satellite or two if we need to. We won't have to worry about, it's so possible. It's so possible, man. But, we won't be hearing about it. Number 5. The whereabouts of the last Gestapo chief, Heinrich Mueller. The last verified sighting of him was in Berlin roughly 3 days before it fell. He had stated that he knew full well what the Russians did to prisoners, and he had no intentions of being captured. As chief of the Gestapo, he more than likely had access to foreign documents as well as ways to replicate them. Both the CIA and KGB spent time looking for him, but no trace has ever been found. Oh, one of them found him. One of them found him. A true Silver Wolf said, "Go full McAfee." It's interesting that you don't hear me talk about this motherfucker. It's interesting that you don't hear me talk about this motherfucker. But one thing that I hope was blatantly and wildly apparent to people when this nigga did what he did is the fact that it's a very big possibility for anybody to just do that. If you got the money, you can just do that. You can send some shit out there. People aren't equipped like that. Maybe they got a little bit of motion trackers and fucking cameras that are watching certain bullshit like that, but only military, only certain government installations are worried about their airspace in a capacity where something as measly as a drone. Bruh. But you don't see it often. How weird is that? And is the likelihood more that nobody's doing it at all other than this one man McAfee? Or that people who did do it perhaps got caught, perhaps got tracked, and perhaps were informed very deliberately and forcefully that they need to stop this bullshit, and if anything gets out, their life is compromised? That they'll go full Epstein on their ass? Or my dude... Man, let me shut the hell up and read our fun little list. It's so fun. Oh my God. Number 4. What on earth happened to the Strohm family? Not that family. The Strohm. Tromp, okay? So it's this Australian family who owned a berry farm. You know, I happen to like berries and cream. You could say I'm a little lad who likes berries and cream. Somehow Mr. and Mrs. Strohm and their 3 grown-ass kids developed the belief that they were not safe. So much so that they needed to flee their farm without cell phones or anything traceable. No credit cards, etc. I want you to know how unnatural a fear that is. You understand me? It's not just a thing that you wake up with. You got to have a very, very, very big reason to be effortlessly convinced, and not just a single person paranoia kind of way, and not just a me and my boo who I love so she'll do whatever I want to do type way, but yo lady or you and your man and the kids who are grown enough to come to their own conclusions, to leave their life behind, to leave technology behind. Think about what's going to be able to get you out of your room if you know that you're not going to be able to come back to your computer and your cell phone in a couple of seconds. It's got to be life-threatening. Leave your life behind. Nothing traceable, no smartphones, none of that bullshit. You know, it's time to go. Sounds like the oldest son wasn't sold on whether or not it was what led them to flee. He brought his phone. Ugh. But eventually it got tossed from the car. He ended up bailing first and taking a train home. From there, the rest of the family slowly separated and suffered various degrees of emotional breaks. The 2 girls stole a car. Somehow they got separated, and one made it home. But the other was found on the floor in the back seat of some guy's car in a catatonic state. Eventually, the parents were found wandering around aimlessly. Fortunately, they were all okay, physically. But what the fuck happened? Was someone after them? Were they delusional? As far as I know, the family has not released any updates. One thing that I unfortunately hate to say, I hate to say it because We already live with a bunch of fears, you know? Somebody could get drunk and run into us with their car, and that could be the end of our life. We could have a heart attack. We could choke in the middle of eating, in the middle of our sleep, and not wake up. Spider could crawl into us, fucking sting us in a bad spot, and that's just it. That's it for us. We die, right? But I want you to know, it's not hard to make a person crazy. We don't need to drill into people's heads for lobotomies anymore. I want you to know that just because a government's not supposed to use something on people doesn't mean they don't. And it doesn't mean that there aren't, I want to say, fuck pills, fuck injections, my dude. Don't think that there isn't, honestly, like something that they can just smear on you with something as hilarious as a handshake while they're squeezing their way by you, that wouldn't just make you go crazy. We got drugs that are available to us that'll allow us to do that already. I'm talking about full crazy, like eating people crazy. I'm talking like Florida man crazy. Take it from somebody who lives here. It's a terrible thing to say, because I don't want that in your head, but if the government didn't want to just end you, and not just the government, my dude, but people with access to some of these things, if they didn't want to just end you because that might be suspicious, they wanted to make you look crazy, properly crazy, in a way where people could get video of you coming off crazy and sounding crazy and acting crazy. Shit, they could do that. It's not hard to mix up. All I know is when it strikes a whole family that, we're not safe and we need to go. Shit, man. What the hell charged, man? You know, it's not like somebody just put some drugs in a ball and then came in and threw it at the ground and the vapors just got into everybody and they were so paranoid at the same time. They were like, oh my God, we gotta get out of here. No phones, no phones. So you're all high as fuck and crazy and paranoid and delusional, but at the same time, you have the wherewithal and functioning brain to know not to bring things that they can trace. What kind of drugs are those where you're going crazy and like paranoid, but you're still reasonable and coherent? I don't know. Shit. Give me some of that. Let me actually follow through and finish some projects, man. Sounds like Ritalin, but more fun. Just kidding. The Kyle channel does not condone the use of, drugs that hypothetically people could be using to make you seem crazier than normal. Insane, really. But is it insane than the membrane? Number 3. Bradley got the ducks eating the bread. Rusty Shackelford. Oh my God. Rusty Shackelford got the bleach. Oh snap. This dude's been kicking it for a while. He's been kicking it. Hello to everybody in the stream chat. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Like the video, join my Discord. You'll receive notifications of when these streams are supposed to happen on a daily basis. You can be the first. You could be the last. You could have the biggest titties and you can have a blast. I'm talking motorboats. Am I saying that my Discord is distributing motorboats? That might be crazy. Oh shit, I didn't say that I was streaming because it like prompts me. Oh boy. Oh, I posted an invitation to the Discord in the Discord. What are you, an idiot? They hit me with the crazy. Oh no. Oh, now it's happening to me. As we continue this list. Number 3. Who was Perseus? From 1943 to 1946, the Soviet Union had a high-level spy in the Manhattan Project, codenamed Perseus. This spy was a scientist at the White Sands Missile Testing Site in New Mexico. For people who don't know what the Manhattan Project is, this is the nuclear bomb, homie. This is when they get the egghead scientists that they didn't even respect to mix something up that would be their big ace in the hole that could kick everybody's ass. But so hard was the ass kicking that this thing was capable of that maybe, just maybe, it would kick all of our asses if we fucked up too hard. I think they call that phrase mutually assured destruction. Too much. So apparently the Soviets had themselves a spy in the midst of one of our most hardcore weapon developments in the world. You know, I consider an A-bomb bet worse than anything that's ever going to be able to be managed. More crazy than any kind of, you know, biological warfare, anything. It's just terrible. I think 3 well-placed A-bombs could just destroy life as we know it. You know? Too many continents are connected. Straight up. 3 well-placed A-bombs could destroy life on this planet as we know it and alter it going forward. And it would take not just generations, but more time that I could probably think to articulate to bury some of this. And the residue, the resonance, the footprint of it would never go away. It would always be there. Bradley, seriously though, AIDS compared to an A-bomb though? You know? The funny thing about AIDS is like people live with AIDS. You know? It's terrible, but they live in with it. And I want you to think about when a bomb drops, what do? You put a Band-Aid on that motherfucker? You got a quality of life after that? I don't know. Returning to the entry, forgive me. The Soviet Union had a spy in the midst of the Manhattan Project. The scientist was at the White Sands military missile testing site in New Mexico and in the main research facilities at Los Alamos. Perseus saw pretty much the entire project from start to finish, giving the Russians everything they needed to know to get to work on their own bomb. The fact that they were able to do so within 4 years of the end of World War II, when their nation was still devastated, is proof positive that Perseus helped a great deal. And to top it all off, Perseus was never caught or positively identified. We got Black Widows in real life, bruh. We got Black Widows in real life. Holy shit. Look. Number 2. Back in 2013, an unknown group assaulted a power substation in California. By all appearances, it was fairly sophisticated. Scouting firing positions, all casings wiped of prints. They targeted transformers so that they take time to overheat before triggering any alarms. Also knew exactly when the police would arrive. No suspect or motive to this day. They also cut some fiber optic cables in a vault nearby. Conspiracy types think it was a dry run by Russia or possibly China to see how effective an attack might be. Do you want to think about it? Do you want to think about shit like that? Do you want to think about shit like that? You want me to read that again for you? Back in 2013, an unknown group assaulted a power substation in California. A power substation. By all appearances, it was pretty sophisticated. Scouted firing positions, all casings were wiped of prints, no way to trace them. They targeted transformers so that they'd take time to overheat before triggering alarms. There's like a brute force way to do this. This wasn't that. This was methodical. This was planned. This was smart. This was smart. They knew how long it would take the police to arrive. There are no suspects and no motive. Conspiracy types believe it to be just a test for people who may be walking and living among us, waiting for the opportunity to hit us where it hurts. You want to know how to fuck us overnight? Take away our power and our fucking internet. Done. I don't want to say anything like this because I believe in this country and I love this country, and I wouldn't allow how awful things may be right now to cloud what they could be here. But if America were a fruit and China and Russia were waiting for that fruit to be ripe, it's riper than it's ever been right now. America ripe, boy. America ripe. The people that are supposed to be protecting us are attacking us because of their ego. Because they want to play military. There's an actual threat, but it's an invisible threat. You see how all of these jackasses think it's the hardest thing to do to stay the fuck inside and keep your fucking distance and wear a goddamn mask? And you're tired of it now because you're bored and you need to get your hair cut and you want to go to the movie theaters. What am I supposed to do? How dare you tell me what to do? I'm an American and I'm free and nobody's going to tell me what to do. Even if some people have to die? You know how stupid some people are in some of these places? You know what I mean? And the crazy part is, it didn't even need to hit us the way that it hit China. China people falling over in the streets, son. That was some true zombie shit out there. It was a plague out there. Yes, it was a pandemic here. But the videos that we saw in fucking China, ain't nothing approaching that here. Ain't nothing approaching that here. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, ICU beds fucking unavailable. More than 50% of staff in a lot of places, airports testing positive. It's terrible. And it could have been less bad if people used their brains. We got Trump saying, I'm going to pull funding from schools if they don't open. Derp. What? You think they closed just for the fun of it? And the crazy thing is, if you look at motherfuckers with money, you see that they're not moving before they have to move. And it's not just a luxury thing where, oh, because we have the funds to be able to wait longer, we're not going to. There are people that have money that are covering their ass. There are people that have money that could be making a shitload of money by having things go back to normal right now, but they're not doing it because they know that they would lose more than they'd gain. That's wise. That's smart. That's fiscally responsible. And instead of looking at some of the people who have money and going, okay, well, they're not getting too excited yet. Maybe I should calm down too. You see a lot of people, a lot of broke ass niggas, if you'll excuse the vernacular, that are jumping up just like, well, I'm in a patient. We need to get out there now. And it's like, my God, bro, just calm it on down. Don't rub them elbows with these assholes yet. Just chill. Just chill. So the idea that the police, they going crazy without people to flex on, without people to feel like a big man in front of. I saw some shit on like Public Freak Out where a cop was trying to drill a black dude that he pulled over. And the black dude was telling him like it was. Like, he's like, yo, listen, you don't have probable cause. You know, I'm not being detained. And the cop was saying shit like, you don't speak. I'm the one who speaks. That's not how this goes and all this shit. And he was like, where did you train to be a cop? And the dude said, where did you train to get your law degree? Because my nigga had one of those. And he knew his rights and he knew the law. My dude. And that's the crazy thing is you put a badge and a gun on these motherfuckers and they will bend the law so that they can seem like they got the big dick, they got the authority, and that they can call the shots. They're going to lie to you because they believe they can get away with it. It's so sad. You know, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. But the idea that we might be making ourselves vulnerable by fighting amongst one another when there are genuine threats that are as invisible as people pretend that this stupid virus was. This virus had science and numbers behind it. We should have seen it coming. And we did see it coming. But because we got enough boomers in positions that I guess are powerful enough for them to just be like, listen, I see it and I don't care. Because I'm not a pansy boy. And I'm going to get y'all sick too. If it happens. Whatever. It's a test for our immune system. Herd immunity. Bruh. Okay. While our generation, a lot of us just trying to sit still, trying to calm down, do what we need to do, maybe play some video games, Catch up on some goddamn anime. Oh boy. Listen, number one. An unknown group of people, that's a scary thing to think about. Can you imagine just like a group of Chinese people and a group of Russian people that have been planning to overthrow something for a long time? And they know exactly how to make the power go out, exactly how to, you know, establish checkpoints and zones to cover like a grid. There's this game called Ingress. And just in case y'all don't know, if you've ever played Pokemon Go, when you flip that app open, maybe there's a church near you, maybe there's a school near you, maybe there's something in the way of a landmark near you, and they will make that a Pokestop in the game. You can go up to that Pokestop using the location services on your phone for Pokemon Go, and then swipe the Pokestop to get Pokeballs and other types of things that you can use to, you know, use potions on your fucking Pokemon, use Pokeballs on random Pokemon that you come across. Before they went through with Pokemon Go, Niantic used Google Maps to make a game called Ingress. Ingress is interesting because the same things that would be points of interest on a map, like a school or a church or a YMCA center, you know, even a store, you know, grocery stores, fucking fast food restaurants. These are points that you could go, and I don't remember what the fuck you do, but you like do some bullshit, dude. But the interesting thing was, if you could create like these lines between them, and then you could create like a triangle between 3 points, that area in between those points, you know, kind of like a triangle, but Bermuda Triangle, the area in between those 3 points would become your faction's area. But I always used to look at it and think about how this is some borderline gang looking shit. You know what I mean? I remember playing Saints Row back in the day and looking at areas that people with certain gangs had territory control over. If you went in there and it started enough of a fuss, the whole gang would show up and you'd have to whoop their ass to try to assert dominance in that area. Long story short, I like to think if people went to 3 points on a map, and I wouldn't say, look, just use the device that maybe made it so that you couldn't use your phone. They would have a zone, an area where shit could get real crazy. And people would have no way of knowing anything otherwise. Man, it all seemed so simple just a year or so ago. Yeah. People were teasing me for having a mask on my wish list. When did they send out that text message to Hawaii saying that the bomb was going to go off?
I want to say either last year or the year before that. Like it happened within these past 2 years. And that was scary.
It's not specifically an EMP though, Bradley. Imagine it as like a pulse. Imagine it as like a scrambler. Some service providers will send out vehicles that can kind of amplify a signal, or basically just make it so that people can get more bars, you know? And this is the opposite of that. It goes in the opposite direction, you know? Huh. YNK said, I wonder what July's surprise is going to be. For real, boy. This year is getting wild. And we keep thinking to ourselves, boy, you gotta, it's like a show. It's like a concert show, you know, where every time one band comes out, they just blow the motherfucking roof off this bitch, you know? They burying us underground with the sound that they create, and we causing a crater. That's a tough set to follow, you think? Who's coming out next to have some shit to aliens? Bruh, I would kill. That'd be so fucking cool. Shit. And why doesn't the government just drop that? You want us all to shut up and stop paying attention to stuff that you don't want us to pay attention to? Release the damn footage. Because we know that they're sitting on things that they don't understand. Oh, we can't shut this out. It would cause hysteria. Bitch, please. Please. The way that everybody denies shit these days. God, people suck ass. They spend their whole life denying some bullshit, and then when we show them the irrefutable proof, they go, well, it's not that big a deal. Bitch, this whole fucking time you were saying that it ain't even real. Oh, well, racism's just a construct. There's not really people out there that hate black people. Bitch, are you for real? Look at this fucking thing. Look at this. What you got to say about that? Oh, well, it's not a big deal. Oh. You're crazy. Aliens aren't real. Well, look at this shit. I'm gonna take you on a ship right now. You gonna get up all in that asshole. How does that feel? Doesn't feel that big a deal. You know, it's whatever. This is my butt. If this is how I go, it's how I go. With a probe up my butt. See, I'm not like your generation. Always worried about everything. Some things are out of our control. Bitch. Bitch, why? Why, bitch? Number 1. An unknown group of people broke into an FBI building. No one has found out who they are. But the best part is that they did it by leaving a sticky note that said, do not lock the door tonight. And it worked. Hummingbird, calm down. A couple of videos is not declassifying UFO bullshit. To be honest, if I may be completely honest with you, much of what the government has declassified on UFOs is more interesting than the footage that we've seen. That footage ain't shit, you know? But knowing the amount of money that went into certain things and a lot of what the pilots can verify, some of these men who have spent their fucking entire life in the sky about fucking craft that are doing things that they've never seen before in their life, pulling off maneuvers that would kill a normal man, because we don't have technology like that to make it so that when a craft is in motion, that if it were to just abruptly change direction, anything but pulverization of the human body would occur. And I'm not saying that maybe in some facility, in some off the books type of black fucking project that we haven't mastered some sort of a technology in the way of flight that would make it so that even we could withstand all kinds of crazy maneuvers in some kind of craft. But I am saying that these trained men didn't know what the fuck they were looking at. That shit's wild. That shit's wild. And I love the idea that, like, if something were to go down right now where it was truly just unexplainable and everybody had their cameras, bruh, the government wouldn't need to do a damn thing, because there would be enough cocksuckers jumping on the internet trying to explain it away because they know everything about everything and this isn't real. And the government could come out and be like, it's real. And then just these same cocksuckers would just be like, look, man, look, I'm going to replicate this on Photoshop right now. And upload my video, and I defy you to tell me the difference between that and what you saw out there. They're not real. Bruh. I don't believe in Dr. Greer and all of his hokey ass work. Here's the bottom line about a lot of these people. It's really hard to know who's telling the truth and who's not. Because the best way to make something lose its credibility is to throw somebody that's a little bit too into it out into the midst of it and make people just go, man, I don't know though. Misinformation. It's everything. Man, I hope this list was something to you. It's crazy. I guess I've reached a point where I don't want to disturb you too much, not with genuinely disturbing crap as opposed to why would he do this? Why is he such a punk? In case y'all didn't know, Yandere Simulator is by this punk, this cock named Yandere Dev. And somebody made, or a group of people, made a game that was better than it in like 2 weeks, but now he's apologizing all over the place. And I want to know why. But I can't understand why. I can't get the answers. He's dealing with too many things. Every day, man, we hear this bullshit from some people. Like they got some crazy shit going on in their lives. He said he's canceling it before the deadline. I need to give YNK some money. This dude need to let me give him some money. What was I talking about? Listen, let's get out of here. YNK said these are the best kinds of scary lists, real life-ish, bruh. I actually get real life scared. Huh?
770 Hong Kong.
No, YNK, listen, I was just talking about giving you money. You already know what term it is. We have got to take them down from the inside together. And we can only do that by hitting them from above, from high above. They'll never see us coming. It'll be like some straight up battle bus shit, man. It'll be some we gonna thank the bus driver and dive out of that bitch. Wait till you see my glider, my IRL glider, YNK. Shut up, Kyle. Don't shake your head at me, Dia. What are you doing? What's up with your hair, Dia?
I feel like a burp is stuck in my throat.
What's up with your hair?
I'm brushing it with my hands because it was knotted.
I understand. So your hair was knotted, and you're brushing it. How is it going for you?
It's okay. I thought it would be a lot harder since I don't have like a brush with me in here. But it went relatively okay. It still kind of hurt.
Where has your brush gone?
It's in the room, but it's loud when I brush my hair in here.
No. YNK, my man. I appreciate that 420 first of all.
Smoke weed every day.
And I do appreciate that tree fitty as well.
$3.50.
Tree fitted. Tree fitted.
And I appreciate the double curse 666 donation, but listen, message me, because you already know that we got to get on top of some things before things get out of control. To everybody in the stream, I love you to death. What the hell, Dia? What?
You and your urgency.
No.
Get out of here.
So we have to talk. We have to get this done. We have to get it sorted. Okay?
You should start crying too.
I should start crying. What, like that guy who eats the food on YouTube?
Yep.
That's a really deep
been
inhale
so
before
hard.
the cry.
It's been so hard.
Well, thank you, True Silver. I appreciate your critique. I will definitely come back at it with some more interesting stuff. You guys keep your phones charged, man. Keep your phones charged. Keep your phones charged. Do not hesitate to just whip that out when somebody's on that bullshit, because they will change their tune. And there is, unfortunately, a percentage of people who may get a little more aggressive. But hey, boy, just survive. And maybe there's a payday in it for you. Am I saying that you should... Look, I'm not saying provoke a motherfucker. I'm saying if he does get hostile, if she does get hostile, and you got that fucking footage... You know, ham it up on the video too. Don't hurt me. Please don't assault me. No. Don't hit me again. Like, hey, Dia, I'm going to do the, you want to role play?
Right.
Dia, no.
What am I supposed to do with that?
Get the sorting hat, bruh.
Wait, is there a way for you to get like a sorting hat besides Disney?
An
Because
IRL sorting hat? I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh,
especially
boy.
for the game when the game comes out. You gotta believe.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you soon. Stay out of trouble. And be good to one another. This has been Still Unsolved Mysteries. I had to wait till it came up because I forgot what the hell it